On screen right now you see the question that haunts all of us before we buy a game, and today we're doing that for Night of the Dead. Stay with me. Yes, this is an early access review. It has a tiny development team of maybe only 2 people. There's a lot more features to be added, there's a lot more work to be done, I appreciate that. But nonetheless, they are asking you to spend your money on the game. So let's have a look at that and see if it is worth it. So what have the developers said? The game is build defences against nightly waves of zombies, survive and escape the island. It is a small development team and the game will be officially released in the 4th quarter of 2021, a year from now. There's a lot more content to come and freedom is the key identity of the game. Current state. Key content has been delivered that clearly conveys the concept of Night of the Dead and a minimum level of perfection to enjoy the game. That's the current state. Price of the game will change after the official release, but don't know what that will be yet. New Zealand $30 or US $20. That's what you will be paying for it. Quickly looking at the game. When you load up a new game, you've got various states that you can play it in, different difficulty levels. You also have where you could play no zombies will come along, no team kill, obviously multiplayer, and hardcore mode where you cannot be revived once you're dead. That's the different ways you can play it. Multiplayer is slightly problematic at the moment. There's official, dedicated and non-dedicated. Official, click join, you get nothing. Dedicated, refresh, no servers found. Non-dedicated, this is where actual people have invited people to the game. You do get a few of those, but of course you are joining onto another person's computer, and if they exit you get kicked. It works, I've done a little bit of it. The team themselves have been providing a lot of hot fixes. They have been really good with this. I've noticed a lot of small fixes, bigger fixes, they are coming out pretty damn regularly. These would be different UI changes, new buildings being added, new research options, that sort of thing. They've even actually done a couple of things on how to actually set up your own dedicated server. So the development team have been working pretty actively to get this game moving forward, which is exciting. This game, you are on an island, there's no 2 ways about that, because the ultimate ambition is to escape the island. If you get to the edge of the map, you will come across expanses of water. Sometimes you will see a township on the other side of the water. It looks really, really good. Let me start off by saying that. And as I made my little mistake here and fell into the water, it led me to talk about one thing very quickly. That is the Unreal Engine. The water dynamics are bloody good. Water is only used very sparsely in the game, and that is a real shame because it is very, very good. They could do a lot more with it. And it would really bring another element to the game, because sometimes the map can feel, for want of a better word, a bit flat. So as I said, the end game is to escape, and that's the township maybe that we need to escape to. You get a very, very good feel in this map of it being post-apocalyptic. There is a lot of different structures to come across, and they have a run-down feel, but they are drawn, to be honest, quite beautifully. The map itself, the trees, the shrubs, the clutter that is around portrays a real feel of escape, that there's been a panic. But you will spend most of your time in the centre of the map, which is where the town is, which is what I'm running to here. There are various roads that lead out of it, but your town is the centre of your gameplay, and it is beautifully drawn. It has a real feel of clutter, of disrepair, I really like it. I spent a lot of time in this town, as I expect all players will. The buildings are beautifully done. In this particular case, we have these apartments, and, well, I don't know, they just look good. And when you go into them, one of the factors I do like about the game, you open your doors, the interiors of the buildings are very, very dark, and you've got to use your torch. Reminds me very much of those scenes from I Am Legend. Maybe that's what they were trying to replicate, but it works really well. The AI isn't very clever indoors at the moment. The zombie aggro seems a bit messed up. And the map does have glitches. I spent probably an hour trying to extract my character out of this mesh hole, and in the end I just had to go back to a previous saved game. So it's not perfect, but the map is good. Particularly, as I said before, the town. It has a really, really good feel to it. So the map art, I should say that again, the map art and design is very nice, but it does need a little bit of fleshing out. You will also spend a lot of your time chopping down bushes and trees for the vine, the leaves and the branches. They are essential building elements throughout the game. You will spend a lot of time dismantling cars for the various resources, the iron, the rubber, the cloth that you will get, and you'll spend a lot of time dismantling barrels and then more cars and chopping down more trees. Resource gathering is critical in this game, and as it progresses you will spend time looking for these rock formations. This one is an iron formation because you will need the iron out of it for more advanced builds. You will need to beat the crap out of these rocks with your pickaxes to get the boulders that come out of them. And then you will spend a fair bit of your time hunting these animals, which, to be honest, are really good. There is a real diversity of animals. The map feels alive. I do like that aspect of it. This is a boar. Gets angry, kill it with your arrows, tries to run away. Good little basic AI there. You get up there and you skin it. You get the skin, obviously. You also get bones and various other bits and pieces. You have rabbits here, don't underestimate their value. All these things are critical resources in the game. In particular, when you are upgrading your weapons and equipment, you will need the bones and the skins of various animals to be able to do that. This is a deer. In the distance there is a fox, which I'll just quickly run up to it and show you what this is like. A nice orange goldeny looking fox. Don't forget, as you wander the map, you will also come across wolves. Now the wolves themselves are easy to kill, and perhaps having them in packs would be a little bit more interesting. A little bit disappointing, the wolves, because they're probably about the same to kill as a deer. Everyone's favourite, of course, is the grizzly bear, which gets very angry if you get too close and has a relentless attack. Not too difficult to kill when you figure it out, but when it gets on top of you and gives you a big swipe with one of those dinner-sized paws, you will feel it, and you probably won't be able to take more than just a few swipes. The gun itself sounds like a pea shooter. That's another story. So overall, when you look at the resource gathering, it is pretty nicely done, but it does get rather repetitive. This is mostly due to the not respawning. So if you chop down a tree, it doesn't come back, meaning you have to go wider and wider for your resources. That can be rather annoying. The animals are a resource that you have to gather as well. They are nicely animated. There is a massive diversity of them. That is quite well done. But of course it is a zombie game, so let's look at the zombies. There is quite a diverse amount of them. You have the standard zombies, and then you have the souped up zombies, let's call them that. The standard ones come in all shapes and models and sizes, and each one seems to have I guess you'd call it a different power attack. Some are tougher than others, some take just a few arrows, some will take 20 arrows, and they often have their own way of acting, like this one is a jumper one. There's a good array of zombies and they look bloody good, to be honest. One of the issues with the zombies though is the bizarre aggro settings. It is really hard to work out. It took me quite some time to figure out that during the day you get these mini little waves that don't attack your base, they attack you personally and they will hunt you across the map. So you can be in the middle of nowhere and then all of a sudden you get all these zombies attacking you. The other thing is the way they just generally aggro. Some zombies will aggro very easily and others not so easily. Some you can quickly shake when you run away from them, and others like this one, I tested it, literally tracked me halfway across the map, even though I was well and truly out of its visual range. So it has a randomness to it, the zombies. They are good to look at, they feel solid, they've got some good diversity of attacks, they are a challenge when they get to you in little packs, but it's hard to work out how or why they work. Some other games will have them set so that they can listen for you, some will smell you, and you've got to figure this out yourself to feel how to work the game. The random nature of the way the zombies work really made it feel odd at times, and I hope they figure this out or make it a little bit clearer, because I think that would be a big step forward. However, there are what I would call the super zombies. There's only a few of those at the moment, and I'm assuming that there will be more. Look at this thing here. Not only is it just terrifying to look at, it has its own power attacks, for want of a better word. It is extremely tough. It is scary as hell, and when you see it, you avoid it. Really, really well done. Then you often come across these butchers, and they are yet again a souped up zombie. They throw meat cleavers at you, which is really cool, the way the meat cleavers fly past your head. They take an absolute truckload of arrows to put down, and even gunshots. They are tough as nails. One of the problems that the game has at the moment is I can fight these big super creatures for 5 minutes, hacking and slashing and using up ammunition, all those sorts of things, but yet they give me no more resource or loot drops than just killing a bunch of normal zombies. Let's talk about the zombies. They look great. They have a good diversity of them for an early access game, give them full credit for that, but the aggro settings at this stage are letting it down. It's very hard to work out exactly what sets the zombies off, and indoors the aggro settings seem to be really out of sync. Outdoors, still a bit weird, so a little bit more work in that area is required. Let's quickly look at the research and crafting. This is your research station here, and you learn research by gathering research materials, which you get off dropped zombies. You can also get it off packages, cardboard boxes that you unpackage on the ground. It didn't take me long to unlock a lot of the research, but it is pretty good. It does give you good bonuses where you need them, and it isn't too overpowered. This is your equipment bench. This is where you make your various items, your weapons, that type of stuff. It works quite well. You even have a lightsaber there. I personally really despise that being in there. This is not a Star Wars game. Don't pander to that particular crowd. Just make it what it is. This is the equipment bench, and I like the options here that you have. You also have the ability to upgrade, for example, the bags that you carry, your food bags, ammunition bags. These will allow you to carry more ammunition or items, and this is where your bones and skin that you get off the animals comes in. We also have material bench, where you can craft wooden planks, lumber, various other bits and pieces for your building purposes. You'll be coming into these various stations a lot. You have a sleeping bag, and this is a flag. This is your respawn, and it marks it on the map. You also have this crafting bench where you'll spend a lot of time again making items that you'll need for traps or buildings, even some of the high-end equipment to help you escape the island, like electronic devices and fuses. You also have these storage boxes. You can carry a lot in this game, and you do need it. You pick up a lot of resources as you go, and you do need most of them. Overall, the research and crafting is quite well done. The research, you seem to get through it a little bit too quick, and it seemed a bit easy, although it was well balanced. The crafting itself feels really solid, but it could probably do with just a few balance tweaks, because there are some oddities in some of the items that you have to craft. But actually, for early access, it works quite well. Let's look at how you build things. We'll just build a few traps here to demonstrate how it is done. You get your various resources, click your build button. Obviously red indicates you can't build, but if you can move things up and down, you get the blue color, and that shows that you can build. You can snap and unsnap it, you can rotate, you can even do full rotations. There's a lot of versatility in the placement of anything that you want to build. I can be honest here and say this works very well. The traps themselves do sometimes seem a bit big. They have a cartoonish feel to it, I should say, and that to me is a little bit distracting, but I know what they're trying to get at. They're trying to make it, these are big items, they are devastating. Here we're going to build ourselves a compressor, same thing, a little bit high, so I'll lower it down. You can move it around to get backwards and forwards, get your blue marker and just place it, and then you are good to go. So once you get the resources, you can make pretty massive bases with traps everywhere. It's probably a little bit too easy to do, because your base can become so huge with so many traps, it's pretty overwhelming for the poor old zombies. Building walls and fences and things is equally as easy, and you can upgrade them with the click of the button as long as you have the right resources in your inventory. Here I'm just upgrading some wooden palisades to a stone palisade. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. It actually is pretty good. So the building mechanics. Overall, I'd say it's pretty quick and easy to use. There are no issues at all with usability. It does seem to make a lot of sense, and it does seem quite versatile. You could move them around and put them into all sorts of different combinations, and put them in all sorts of different weird ways, and make quite a unique base. My base is a shambles, don't judge me on it. But really it does come down to the actual zombie wave itself each night. Here I think this is wave 16, and it gives you an idea of the type of creatures that you come across. As I said, my base is a shambles. It hasn't been well sorted at all. I really just built it as I went along. The waves, well, what can I say about them? They start off slow. You have just a few zombies coming in. I guess the purpose there is to drain your resources and to drain your traps down, because they do need reloading. They do need, for example, a ballista does need bolts put into it because it will run out. And as the wave continues, the zombies get harder and harder, and then you get the super tough zombies that come in at the end to sort of barrel over the top of everything and smash their way in. I would probably say that they at this point aggro a little too much on your structures. I know they're trying to break them down, and that does make sense, but they're not trying to push their way towards me. They should be trying to get me, less the structures, because I have found that the structures can delay them, not through the traps themselves, but just purely because they're aggroing on them and trying to destroy them. And perhaps because they don't have this relentless drive towards you as a person, they sort of get stuck a little bit. It makes some of the harder waves a little bit too easy. You do need to repair and reload the traps as you go along, and if you set your base up properly, which I have not done at all, then you could make this into almost like a automated system. Not quite automated, but you can make it logical and flow, and there could be some really nice challenges there in trying to get a base that works well, the traps work together, and they funnel the zombies in, and it's easy for you to maintain. There could be some good stuff to be done there. So the zombie waves or hordes themselves, they start off slow and they do build an intensity, and I like that dynamic, and they do have some pretty tough creatures that come in. But they have no aerial threats apart from some jumpers, so there's this weird oddity about your bases as they are open to the environments. You have no ceilings that you can build, you don't need them, and you can't actually build them yet. The waves could be a bit tougher, to be honest. I found them a little bit lacking. And if you're wondering what happens when you escape the island, well, that needs a bit more work, let's say that. The gameplay itself, it needs a bit more beefing out. It feels a bit shallow in between the waves. You're just gathering resources. It just feels a little bit slow once you've set your base up. You spend a lot of time in between the waves, roughly 2 hours, and sometimes you feel like you gotta fill the time in, because really at this point in time it is only a tower defense game. It isn't too much more. Nonetheless, for an early access game, it is very impressive. Don't get me wrong, it's very, very smooth, and I think once they fill up the gaps more, maybe with side quests or something like that, it will be very good. This game actually has a really bright future. It is already very solid, great graphics, a very good concept, a good fundamentals, good UI, everything that you need to really set up a bloody good platform to take it to the next level. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. That is always appreciated, like everyone always says. And I love it when people write comments. I will reply to you and we can have a talk about the game. Thanks for watching. See you in the next chapter. Cheers.